Peter Navarro, I mean, a Trump loyalist, he went to jail because he was held in contempt of Congress for not giving up Trump state secrets, his conversations with Trump around J6. And he's out of jail. He's sitting in for another man who's in jail for the same alleged crime. That's Steve Bannon, hosting War Room. And Peter Navarro, he loves Trump, obviously, had the following to say about Trump, the polls, and messaging. I think it's very interesting. Listen.
The problem you have with giant figures like Donald Trump is that people may tend to tell him what he wants to hear rather than what he needs to hear. But clearly, the last 3 weeks have been difficult. There was a decision made to debate Biden prior to him being crowned the nominee, and I'm sure there were good and bad pro and con reasons for that, but you can at least say in hindsight that was a catastrophic error. It's not just less than 90 days to the election. It's less than half that to early voting. The question is, what is the strategy going to be? Roughly half of a Trump rally speech now is usually scripted red meat for the Trump base. And the current rally formula is simply not sufficiently focused on the very stark policy differences between him and Kamala Harris. That when Trump attacks Harris personally rather than on policy, Harris's support among swing voters rises.
What do you make of it? Does he have a good point? Karol, start with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, I think that anybody who wants Donald Trump to win would tell him, run on the issues. Your support will rise if you remind people that just before, COVID, their lives were going great. Economy was going great. The country was going in a good direction. No wars, etc. He has an argument to make, but he keeps falling back into this childish name calling, nickname giving thing that resonates with his base, but the base is already there. They're already coming to vote for him. He doesn't need that. He needs a swing voter who's saying, wow, I'm actually thinking about voting for Donald Trump, but then he keeps pushing them away. I think that it's absolutely correct that he can win those voters on the issues. But if he keeps playing these games, I just don't know. And the funny thing is, the Trump campaign keeps saying that Kamala's not talking to the press, and they keep pointing this out. Trump should maybe talk to the press just a little bit less, a little bit less press, a little bit more, talking to union workers in Michigan and trying to get their vote, a little less talking to the New York Times.
Well, here was Peter Navarro's prescription, Bethany, which is equally interesting. He says, first idea, the former president immediately begins entering into an interactive jumbotron policy dialogue with Harris. Once Kamala's words are played, then Trump offers his side. And most importantly, he says Trump offers a set of concrete solutions. That's one. Two, before each rally, Trump should hold a press conference with different officials on different issues. Example, Rick Grinnell on foreign policy. And they get into specifically what happened during Biden-Harris and what Trump would do differently were he to be placed in the Oval Office again. Third, insert his own remarks with American citizens harmed by the Biden-Harris administration policies. Like in Pennsylvania, you'd have fracking workers who have lost their jobs. Put that in the middle of the rallies. That could get some pickup. Fourth, rallies must start on time and only last 55 minutes. Less is more. This is back to my right tight. Bethany, that's so simple. Do we have a person in Donald Trump who is capable of taking this advice?
So during the debate, we saw a disciplined Donald Trump that we had never seen before. That Donald Trump was killing it. We have not really seen that discipline since the assassination attempt. And listen, I think he's rattled. Someone can't shoot at your head and shoot you through the air and not get rattled. So I think there is definitely that component of it. I was really frustrated, and I actually wrote a column for Newsweek, and it came out today, about JD Vance, because I think a lot of these criticisms can be made of the vice presidential candidate as well. He went on all the Sunday shows and he talked about how Kamala Harris, all of his woman comments were indicative of the fact that Kamala Harris is anti-family, which I think she is, and I think the Democratic Party is. But the fact is, he sat there and said that his prescription was a $5,000 child's tax credit. And, as a mother of 6, I'm like more than all for that. But he skipped the vote. There was a vote for an increased child tax credit a week and a half ago, and he skipped the vote. And so I'm sitting there thinking, you have the opportunity to do that as a legislator right now. Just like when people say to Kamala Harris, all of these lofty goals, you're in office right now, you could be doing these things. I say the same to JD Vance. And he gave another example of, it was the child tax credits and then COVID. And he sat there talking about all of the excesses that happened in blue states. And nobody talked about that more than the three of us. But all of those policies about masks were written by the CDC under the Trump White House. I have, as a journalist, tried to figure out who wrote those policies. Why did they differ from the WHO? Because the WHO said that kids should be wearing masks much older when they're more developmentally ready to do that. I have never gotten an answer about why the CDC under President Trump differed so drastically from the WHO. And so when I
ceded control to Fauci
Yep.
and all of his, band of brothers and sisters there who are so zealous. But wait, I do want to say something about the child tax credit, because I will confess to you, I've paid almost no attention to that debate. But JD Vance raised it when he was on my show, and he keeps raising it. So I actually did start looking into it. The reason he didn't show up, I'm sure, this piece is speculation. He didn't show up for the vote. It was defeated by the Republican Senate, by the Republicans in the Senate. And the reason the Republicans came out against that child tax credit as proposed, and you still have a child tax credit, but they were going to revise and change it a bit, was because they said you've changed it from like a tax rebate that you would get upon paying taxes to just a gift. It's no longer, under the Democrats' new plan, linked to income. It's like, it's not going to be a write-off under the new proposal. It's just going to be a gift, which looks like welfare, which Republicans oppose. And there was a long piece in National Review by Marco Rubio a couple months ago that really laid out a strong case for why that wasn't a good bill. He likes the child tax credit, and Republicans they're the ones who raised it from $1,000 to $2,000 back in 2017. But they were saying this is a bad proposal because it changes it into sheer welfare.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was frustrating that he didn't show up and that there wasn't a conversation. And so they ceded the ground on this whole conversation to Democrats. They made it look really bad because they blocked it and there was no viable alternative offered on the floor. He just didn't show up. And recognizing he is running for vice president, but it's not a good look when you're sitting there saying, my solution is X, and you don't show up to the vote and you don't have anything to say.
Are you ready to transform your nights and elevate your days? Discover the unparalleled comfort and luxury of Cozy Earth. I love Cozy Earth. I love their bamboo sheet set and their towels and their loungewear. Their sheet set's made with premium viscose from bamboo, and these sheets are incredibly soft, and they get softer with every wash. And their breathability, unmatched. They keep you cool all night, every night, which gives you a better day the next day. But that's not all. Cozy Earth's bath collection is a game changer, especially the Luxe bath sheets. These towels, crafted with a unique blend of cotton and bamboo viscose, using innovative technology, are impossibly soft and plush. Quality and durability are at the heart of Cozy Earth. And with a 10-year guarantee, Cozy Earth products are built to last. Upgrade your nights, transform your days with Cozy Earth. Just go to CozyEarth.com/Megyn and use code Megyn for up to 40% off your order. CozyEarth.com/MEGYN for up to 40% off. Mention you heard about Cozy Earth on our show, and they're going to send you a pair of free socks. How do you like them apples? Check it out. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.